Hi, I'm Alan, and today we're going to be shooting Mossberg's MVP rifle. So stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we're going to be shooting Mossberg's MVP, and this is their varmint rifle. It sports a 24-inch, what they call a medium bull barrel. It has some flutes in it. They call it fluted. They're very light flutes. They are attractive, but I don't know how much of a purpose they serve other than aesthetics. They've also fluted the bolt right in here, which is very attractive. One of the things I really like about this gun is that it does have a 1 in 9 twist on the barrel, so you can shoot your heavier 69 grain match bullets if that's what you wanted to do. So which we'll do today. I'm really excited and looking forward to doing that. This uses an AR-15 magazine, which is notable because Mossberg is the only one that has done this so far. I'm sure other people have tried, but Mossberg has actually come through with it. The gun comes with supplied Weaver bases, and for this evaluation we have mounted a Burris 4.5 to 14 tactical scope with the Ballistiplex reticle. I'll mention the laminate stock. Mossberg could have put a plastic stock on here like so many people or companies do on these economy line rifles. Mossberg chose to put a laminate, which is a very good choice. It's a lot stiffer, a lot more stable than a wood or plastic stock. So I think that was a really good idea. The pistol grip on these particular stocks have a nicely shaped palm swell for right-hand shooters, but the pistol grip does lend itself well to left-handed shooters if you're not opposed to a right-handed bolt. The comb is situated so left or right-handed shooters could shoot it. Because we've mounted the scope kind of high on this particular rifle, we've added Hornady's padded cheek rest to the stock to give us a little more height on the comb for a good cheek weld. And this particular cheek rest has a pocket where you can put things like extra magazines or some earplugs, and it does have these little jackets for extra ammo. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to shooting. Okay? Grain ballistic tip. Approximately 1.25 inches. That was my first 3 shots. Still getting used to the gun a little bit. That's just a little bit less, 1.15 inches. .55 inches, just over ½ inch. I'm really surprised that the 40 grainer shot that well. And these are just loads we threw together. No attempt was made at making precision ammo. 50 grain VMAX, just shy of 1.75 inches. That top one. 0.96, so just right at a minute of angle. 0.78, just over 3/4 inch. Now, why these two are so good and this one's not, that has to be me. I did something there. 0.14 inches. 0.59 inches. 0.37 inches. So pretty impressive. We're going to put the 55s, the 50, 55, 60s, and 69s up next, and we'll see how they do. Okay, here we are, 55, 60, 69s, 0.830, 0.48, just under half, 0.75, 1.26, so 1.25 inches, 1.05, 0.86, 0.63, 0.92, 1.08. So hanging right in at minute of angle. So we're going to set up at 300 yards and we'll shoot a few more. Stay with us. Okay, we just shot at 300 yards and unfortunately we didn't hit the record button on the camera, so it didn't record the shooting, but we'll tell you what happened here. We shot the 40, the 50, 52, and 55 grain bullets. Again, 300 yards. The 40 grain VMAX, or 40 grain ballistic tips rather, they actually impacted up here. We got two almost in the same hole, but they're off the target. That's roughly 3.5 inches. Over here we have the 50 grain VMAX. That's about 1 inch. That's 1.54 inches, so 1.5 inches at 300 yards. Then right here below, we were actually aiming down here, but right here is the 52 grain Hornady match. 1.07 inches at 300 yards. Pretty impressive. And the only bullet that actually came close to hitting point of aim was the 55 grain. They're down here. We've got two on the target and one off. 4.27 inches. So obviously that one ruined what would have been a pretty good group. But still, 1 inch at 300 yards. So I think the gun has real potential as a varmint round, or as a varmint caliber. But we're going to take those 69s and see if we can hit the 500 yard gong. I'm not sure if we can, but we're going to give it a try. So. final thoughts. Well, I enjoyed shooting this a lot. I really got a kick out of shooting this at 500 yards. It took us a little while to find our spot on the map, but once we found it, we had no trouble making hits at 500 yards with the 69 grain Sierra Match Kings with this gun. It was a lot of fun. Even at 300 yards with the 50 grain Hornady VMAX and the 52 grain Hornady Match, an inch and a half and a 1 inch group at 300 yards, awesome, excellent. This is a buy. I would buy this gun for a varmint rifle. It shoots really well. It shot a lot of bullets reasonably well. I will mention that if you notice in my shooting, the top targets were always much worse than the lower targets, and I was trying to figure out why that was. And I would run back to the bench from the, we set up the camera next to the targets, and I'd run back to the bench to try to reduce the amount of recording time, save on battery, and I think that's why those first groups in each row or each column was kind of bad, because of my heart rate. So that's the only excuse I have, but that's what I think it was. But all in all, very impressed with the rifle. We filmed this over a 3-hour period, so there's a lot of editing to condense this down into a 10-minute or so spot. So appreciate your patience there. The scope worked really well. The reticle is a little thick for those 300-yard shots. I think a thinner reticle or a larger target dot would have been useful. But as it is, I think it worked out really well. Very pleased with the gun. The only real issue I had was with the magazine. The 52 grain hollow points would catch on the end of the magazine, and feeding was very rough and sometimes erratic. And once or twice, impossible. I had to remove the magazine and reposition the cartridge in there and really slam it home. The Hornady Match, or the Sierra Match Kings, fed just fine. They got a little smaller hollow point, and it was not an issue. Neither were any of the polymer tip bullets. But other than that, that was the only issue. I think it's a great buy, and certainly proved itself accurate enough for what it's intended for, and that's varminting, and in my case, long-range shooting. So I hope that was helpful. I'm Alan for Shedhorn Sports, and until next time.